Tonight at 5, Indiana Republican lawmakers in Washington, D.C. And right now they're preparing to come home after earlier today meeting with President Trump's administration. Politico reported that they were expected to meet with the president himself.
So they got the invite before the vice president visited Indy. That's when the topic of redistricting came up in a meeting with Governor Braun. State House reporter Emily Longnecker joins us live from the State House, where people there are not happy about the possibility of redistricting.
Hey, Ann and Felicia, Democratic state lawmakers say that they've heard from their constituents, and their constituents are telling them they do not want to see redistricting happen early, that they worry that their voices would be silenced at the polls. And we expect to hear some of that here today at a rally outside the State House set to begin in about a half an hour. Meantime, Indiana Democratic lawmakers held a gathering of their own this morning at the Indianapolis International Airport, and they had a pointed message for their Republican colleagues who went to D.C. to meet with the Trump administration, as well as any lawmakers who would be in favor of redistricting early. State Democrats didn't mince words Tuesday morning.
Let's be honest. This isn't redistricting. This is rigging. This is cheating.
And while they hope for a different outcome, Democrats believe after meeting with the Trump administration in D.C. this week, their Republican colleagues will call a special session to redraw Indiana's congressional districts. They believe it's about appeasing the president, who's called on other states across the country to do the same. This weekend, lawmakers in Texas voted to redraw their maps.
Don't be bullied into calling on a special session. I implore you to muster up whatever courage you have inside to stand for the people here in Indiana.
I call on them to do the right thing, do right by voters. Stand with your voters. They're the ones who elected you. And they are saying, we don't want cheaters. Don't redraw these maps.
A handful of Indiana Republican lawmakers have already said publicly they don't support calling a special session for redistricting. One of those was Republican State Representative Jim Lucas, who confirmed to 13 News this week he was already in D.C. for Tuesday's meeting. The U.S. Constitution calls for states to redraw congressional district boundaries every 10 years to reflect population changes after a census. Indiana's congressional districts were redrawn 5 years ago after the 2020 census.
The maps were good 5 years ago. What has changed? Greed, manipulation, self-serving has changed.
When Republicans cheat the system, it's not an abstraction. It's your neighbor losing a voice.
Democrats say even if Republicans do call a special session, they know what their colleagues across the aisle have said to them one-on-one.
They'll tell you how they really feel. That's right. They do not want this. But the president wants this. And the power that the president has, unfortunately, outweighs the power of the people.
Democratic lawmakers also called on their Republican colleagues to forego any pay that they would receive should a special session happen. Again, they say they have been hearing from their constituents regularly who say they do not want to see a special session. They do not want to see Indiana's maps redrawn. And we're probably going to hear a lot to that effect here at this rally set to begin in about a half an hour. Now, we know today's meeting with Indiana Republicans and the Trump administration was set to begin at 1 o'clock and wrap up around this time at 5 o'clock, so last about 4 hours. We know there were 80 slots. It's still unknown exactly how many Republican lawmakers did travel to D.C. For this meeting today. We know that House Speaker Todd Huston was set to be there, as well as Republican State Representative Craig Haggard and Jim Lucas. Republican State Representative Jim Lucas had confirmed to us that he was already there. He put out a tweet today, right when the meeting was beginning, saying that it was an incredible honor to be here today. And someone replied to him on X about possibly the trip being funded by taxpayers, to which Lucas replied that he had paid for this trip on his own dime. So we know that he was there today. In that meeting, Lucas has been outspoken, though, against redistricting publicly, both on social media and in statements, saying that he was not in favor of it. But again, he was in D.C. today We have reached out to several lawmakers to talk to them after today's meeting, and if we hear from them, we'll bring you any updates. Ann, Felicia.
All right, thanks so much. Keep us posted. Emily Longnecker reporting for us live tonight.
And we want you to see this. You may see this the next time you are near the airport.
What's behind it? Well, we looked into it and we learned that there's a volunteer group that's called Mad Voters, and they've put up 15 of these billboards all across the state of Indiana. If you read it there, it says, "Hey Hoosiers, changing the rules mid-game is cheating." Right now, they're urging voters to call their state lawmakers and ask the lawmakers to fight against convening a special session to redraw the voting maps. Other news now. Tonight, police are calling it disgusting and disturbing. This is a picture of a well-known composer and teacher from Indianapolis found to have dozens of videos of child porn.
Julian Wachner is now facing nearly a dozen charges. Our Ashton Hackman explains how cryptocurrency helped police make an arrest.
55-year-old Julian Wachner is a world-renowned composer and conductor. Now he has a mugshot and is facing 11 criminal charges.
Despicable. I mean, there's no other word that you can use to describe what took place and what this investigation uncovered.
Court documents filed Tuesday detail a complex investigation by IMPD. It started with a tip on August 11th. The e-trading platform Robinhood flagged an account using cryptocurrency to buy child porn. Police tracked the account back to Wachner.
I give a lot of credit to the investigators and the prosecutors who are working on this case to really piece together what occurred.
Detectives learned Wachner spent $840 on the dark website known for child porn, using cryptocurrency to get tokens to use on the site. In a police interview on August 20th, Wachner admitted to downloading and deleting child porn over the course of several years, adding he had an interest in kids 6 to 13. A search warrant uncovered a laptop with the child porn and a sizable amount of cocaine. In all, Wachner is charged with 10 counts of possession of child sex abuse material and 1 count possession of cocaine. Julian Wachner also worked as a 4th grade teacher here at Invent Learning Hub in Fountain Square. According to court documents, he admitted to being attracted to kids in that same age range as those he taught. I stopped by Wachner's house to try to speak with him. A woman answered the door and said he wasn't home. The charges, advocates say, are disturbing.
He admitted that he's been engaged in this conduct for years, and he admitted that he would sometimes delete the material. Both of those things would indicate a person who knows that the conduct is wrong, but continues to do it.
Conduct that has landed a composer and teacher in jail and facing potential prison time. Reporting in Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
Wachner made his initial hearing in court today, and now tonight at this hour is out on bond. He is scheduled to be back in court in October. Right now, 13 News is waiting for a statement from the school where Wachner was last working. The woman accusing a former IMPD officer of rape broke down several times when she was on the witness stand this afternoon. It was a vigorous cross-examination.
The judge was concerned about her mental health and sent her home with the hope that she will complete her testimony tomorrow. Myron Howard is the former officer on trial. Investigators say he returned to the woman's home on North Olney Street in January of 2024, just minutes after officers arrested the woman's boyfriend for domestic battery.
The woman says she had sex with Howard under the implied threat that she could be arrested too.
Tonight, Metro Police are investigating an apparent murder-suicide on the north side of Indianapolis. A man and a woman died in the shooting. It happened around 8:15 last night at a house near North College Avenue and East 91st Street. Officers found a gun at the house and took it as evidence. The Marion County coroner has not released the names of the people who died.
Developing tonight, growing frustrations among people who live on the south side of Indianapolis in Fountain Square.
So they say more people are setting up tents in a homeless encampment, despite the city saying they would not allow new people to move into it. Matthew Foltz joins us in studio with their concerns and how city leaders are responding. What's happening here, Matthew?
Yeah, Anne Marie and Felicia, I've been speaking with one resident for over the last week now, and he does not want to go on camera, but he says right now he feels for his safety, for himself, as well as his girlfriend when they walk their dogs. Now, this is what the encampment looked like Tuesday afternoon when we drove by. About a dozen tents are still left up at the sites, but residents tell me at night they see more tents being set up. A resident sent me this picture of a new tent being set up on Monday, which he says, or was gone rather, by the time we drove by Tuesday. I did speak with Streets to Home Indy Initiative, who is now taking over the efforts along with CHIP to help those who are still out there move into housing. And I asked them the progress and timeline on when they may have everyone moved out.
We'll see people beginning to get housed in the next week or so, and then some of those who are more challenging, you know, certainly by the end of September, we should see them all housed as well.
So OPHS tells us that IMPD is now enforcing the ban and new tents and people who are at the encampment. So I did reach out to see if they had been out to the site to remove anyone. They referred me back to OPHS, who could not confirm. So right now, this is something we're still working to clarify this afternoon. However, we did see 2 IMPD officers out there at the site cleaning up and clearing up debris. Coming up at 6, you'll hear more from what city leaders say is taking so long to get everyone moved out.
Yeah, but you were out there today, right?
Yes,
and
correct.
These are your observations from today.
Correct. These are my observations from today. The video that you saw on your screen was what we shot while we were out there. Of course, I did mention that a picture that viewers, residents sent me, it did not get uploaded in that video, but you'll see more of that and what he sent coming up at 6 p.m.
It's such a frustrating, complex issue, Matthew. Thank you. Angela?
Felicia, another mild afternoon. Temperatures in the upper 60s and low 70s right now. We have 68 Richmond and Shelbyville, 71 Muncie and Bloomington, and 72 in Columbus. Our Fever at Home hosting the Seattle Storm. Temperatures will be close to 70 as you come downtown and head into Gainbridge Fieldhouse. You might need a sweatshirt or a jacket walking to the car after the game. Temperatures will be falling through the 60s. Back upper 40s, near 50 at the bus stop tomorrow morning for another cool start. From there, we expect some sunshine, some clouds tomorrow, and highs just a few degrees warmer in the mid 70s.